A very good evening to everybody. I'm here exactly at 10 o'clock so that we can work on our predicted frames for October and November 2022. Let us start with our October and November 2022. There are a lot of messages. Very good evening to everybody. I'm here. A lot of messages have come over. Let me just respond back to them. Okay, so we are going to work on a small PPT. That's not a PPT, actually, that is your speaking frames. So I'm going to work on that, but I'll tell you how exactly are we going to work on it. So slowly and gradually, we'll start answering all the questions which are predicted. So let us see what all is predicted. Okay, let me share the screen with you. So without wasting much of time, I'm directly going to go to the speaking section and start solving the answers. Okay, now just to give you small information, this speaking frame has been released in your login IDs for all the students who are there, who are of Webberz. They all have it in the login ID. The moment they open the login ID, they go to the left side. There's a download section. Click on the download section. You will see predicted speaking frame 3rd October 2022. And we are going to answer those questions. So let us see how they are and how are we going to answer back to them. Okay. So I am going to be sharing my screen with you. Here you are. That is my screen. So let us start working on it. Okay. So here you are. Let me zoom it out a bit more. Ah, great, wonderful. And I think this all should be visible. Let me just see the zoom level, if it's visible or not. Vaibhav Arora, very good evening. Leena Sharma, very good evening. Rajat Rampal, very good evening. Rohini Sharma, very good evening. And Gil Saab, very good evening. Okay, so here we are with all these question answers. I think it's a little lesser. So let me make it 300% or 200 was fine. This is fine. Okay. Right, here we are. So we have frame 1, and as every Saturday, we have got 4 frames. Okay, so I'm going to cover every frame with you, and every answer I'm going to give it to you. First, I'll cover frame 1, the introductory questions of frame 1 on smart gadgets. Please be noted, these question answers are from the examination. We have not made it ourselves. They are from the examination. And you people need to understand they are being repeated. So make it very sure you know the answers perfectly. You know the answers perfectly. Otherwise, it is very difficult for you to frame out the answers on the spot. Some of the questions are very tricky. Very tricky. Trust me on that. They're very tricky. So let us start. Do you have any smart gadget? Now, what do you mean by smart? The decision-making gadgets are called as smart gadgets. The gadgets who respond to you, so let me write it down, who respond to you in the sense that when you put in some input and they give an output, that is called as responding back. So do you have any smart gadget? Definitely your answer should be, I have a smartphone. Then start talking about the phone. What is the make? What is the thing? Talk about the phone. What purpose do you use this device for? Now this smartphone can be used for multi-purposes. You can do it to make a call, listen to music, browse the app, see the internet, use it as an alarm clock, use it for watching movies. So there's multi-purpose thing that small gadget in your hand is. How did you come to know about this device? Okay, so here you can talk about your parents, your family, peer pressure, family pressure. So everything forced you to buy one. How many smart devices do you have in your house? So if I talk about the number of members in the house is the number of smart devices today. So rather it is more than that. Rajat Rampal says, please zoom a little more. Okay, Rajat. I will zoom a little more. I believe that you do not have, you're not working on the laptop, you're working on the mobile phone. Okay. Let me zoom it out. So let me rub it. I believe, is it good enough? Okay. I think it should be good enough for you now. Rajat Rampal, is the question that I'm doing good enough for you? Is it fine with you, Rajat? I've just zoomed it up now. Okay. How many smart devices do you have at home now? The smart devices that you have right now are dependent on the number of the family members that are there. So if the family members are, say, 10, you have 10 plus smart devices at home. Everybody has one, plus every house you see, there are one or two broken mobile phones which are there. Is there any smart gadget you are planning to buy? That is the next question. Definitely talk about an iPhone 14 here. So you say that we definitely wish to buy an iPhone 14, or you can talk about the Samsung double screen phone, the collapsible phone. You can talk about that. You're planning to buy that. Okay. So that will be good enough. But here I want you to speak as much as possible on the smartphones. So let me clear this and let's go further. Here we are. Okay. Now this one, I'm going to zoom it out for you. Describe an English lesson that you enjoyed. Okay, now how do you talk about an English lesson here? And which English lesson would you talk about? So I would always suggest you to speak about your, say, a speaking class. You loved the speaking class because, you know, in speaking class, you can talk a lot. You can talk about interactivity in the class. You can talk about participation of people in the class. What was taught in the class? So you can say confidence building in English, or you can say public speaking. Let's say public speaking was taught in the class. SPG. When did you take the class? Well, you took the class last month. Where was it? So you can simply say it was in Webberz. So you were a student of Webberz and you were taking up some confidence building classes here in English, and that class was in Webberz. What did the teacher do to make you enjoy it? So it is called as participation. So everybody was supposed to participate in the class and you were supposed to enjoy that class and learn a lot. What did you learn in it? So we'll talk about it, okay? Participate, an English class. So let me just zoom it out for you. All right. Now, an English class. What can you learn in an English class? First, you can learn planning. You can learn brainstorming, confidence building. You can learn team spirit if it's a group. If it's a group discussion, you can learn about team spirit, team leadership. So many things you can learn about just in one English class. Talk about it. The more you talk about it in activity class, the more you talk about it, the better your cue card will be. It will be very juicy. Remember, your cue card cannot be stopped till the examiner tells you to stop. You simply cannot stop speaking on your cue card just because you don't have ideas. You have to have ideas. There's no second thought about it. Let me clarify the parameters once again. This is part one. In case of part one, this is part one. In case of part one, you should always be speaking 1 to 2 long sentences, or you can say 2 to 3 medium-sized sentences. That is the answer length that you should be having. If I talk about the next thing that is called as the cue card, here you should speak till they stop you. So till they stop you, you keep on speaking till they stop you. Till they stop. You have to keep on speaking till they stop. It is very important. They means who? They means the examiner. Till they stop you, you have to keep on speaking. That is the rule of the cue card. Okay. All right. Rajat Rampal has a wonderful question. He says, can I use one or two idioms in the questions? Rajat Rampal, you can use as many idioms as you want to, as whatever you are comfortable in, start speaking that. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Now remember one thing. What exactly is an idiom? According to me, or according to English language, a set of words which look different than they mean. If they mean something else and they look different, that is called an idiom. You can use an idiom. You cannot use an idiom in writing. Keep that in mind. You can use idiom in speaking. Use idiom in speaking, no problem at all. As many idioms as you want, you can put in speaking, but they should make sense and they should look very real. They should not look artificial at all. They should not look artificial like you have by force put in it. It's not possible. You know, the examiners come to know if you're speaking naturally, if you're not speaking naturally. If you're speaking naturally and the idioms come like a flow, it's fine. If they go with the flow. If they do not go with the flow, that's not fine. Okay. Let's go to the third part, and I am going to zoom this one for you. Here we are. Okay. What are the benefits of learning a foreign language? This one, what are the benefits of learning a foreign language? Here you can talk like an interpreter. You can talk to foreigners. You can go to a foreign country. You can definitely understand the language. It has an edge, you know, you can get admission abroad. So suppose if you know French, you can talk about French. Okay, you can talk about France. Next, what are the benefits of being a foreign language teacher? Like suppose me, I'm a foreign language teacher. What is the benefit of being a foreign language teacher? There are a lot of benefits. I would say there is not one benefit. There are multiple benefits of being a foreign language teacher. Now, what exactly is the benefit? The first benefit is that you tend to have a wider range of the culture. Not only about your culture. When you teach a foreign language, you have to learn that language culture also. You have to learn about that language, movies, the songs, everything, you know, so it gets into your blood. So you become much more experienced. Your horizons widen a lot. That is a very good thing. Secondly, the respect factor rises a lot if you are teaching foreign language. Talk about English teachers. Their respect factor is much higher as compared to talking about any other language, which is local language teachers. So talk about French teachers. Definitely, they have a lot of value. If you go to Delhi and you talk to a French teaching teacher, that person can make a huge amount of money. Monetarily also, it's very beneficial. Plus, the respect factor is very high. And they can get wonderful jobs, maybe in the embassy, maybe anywhere in the world, they can get a job if you know French, if you know Italian. That is the benefit of being a foreign language teacher. Okay, so let me answer some questions here. So here I got a very nice question. Very good evening, Mr. Yashanda. I guess students always try to speak complex and heavy words, and I guess it's a bad idea. They should use for simple ones. Yashanda, I totally agree with you that people try to impress the examiner by using vocabulary which is hardly used. They try to impress the examiner by using bombastic words, by huge words. You know, those bombastic vocabulary does not help you. Rather, it hinders your speaking. When you are speaking, it becomes very difficult for the examiner to understand what exactly are you trying to convey. Speaking is about expressing your ideas to the other person. So I would recommend you use relevant vocabulary. Do not go for vocabulary which is very huge, which is very bombastic, which is very flamboyant. That is not a very good idea. Use vocabulary which is relevant there. For example, I use so many words right now in my speech. It hinders your speech using flamboyant vocabulary, using bombastic words. But then again, these are all relevant vocabulary words when I'm talking to you. But if you simply start using these vocabulary words in your cue card when they are not required, so definitely you will be penalized for it. So Yashanda gave me wonderful advice. So we should all follow that. Rohini Sharma says, can we use interrogative sentence in writing? Rohini, when we come to writing section, we will definitely attempt it. Please keep this question ready for the writing. And we are going to cover writing in a day or two. Okay? Don't worry, I'm going to cover every question of yours. Right. So let us start with the next thing. What benefits of being a foreign language teacher? Then is, will computers replace foreign language teachers in the futures? See, it is very difficult for the computers to replace the teachers. I'll tell you the reason. Now, understand the reason. There's a teacher who can actually judge a student and change his own level. If the student is upper level student, the teacher can go up. If the student is middle level, it can go in the middle. And if it's lower level, it can go down. Take the case of a computer. This is the computer. This is the level of the student. Whatever the level of the student is, the computer will not change its level. It's not possible. It'll keep on telling you exactly the same kind of a thing. A computer is not customizable, whereas a teacher is highly customizable. That's what makes it very important that the teachers will always remain, even if artificial intelligence comes, or even if a lot of machine language is happening, teachers are still going to be remaining an integral part. Yes, technology will become an aid to the teacher, like it's an aid to me right now. Without technology, I cannot work, right? But it is not replacing me. Same is the case with the doctors today. The technology is there. They are aiding the doctors to help the patients, but they are not replacing the doctors. So that is what the whole idea of technology is. Is grammar the most difficult part about learning a foreign language? No, I don't think so. Grammar is the most difficult part about learning a language, because if you look at the grammatical rules all across the world, they're very simple rules, very simple rules. We have past tense, we have present tense, and we have future tense. Definitely these three tenses are there. You need to customize them. That's the only thing. The customization, for example, recently I'm learning Sanskrit. And if I look at the language of Sanskrit, that is very similar to Hindi. But the tense is a little more complex as compared to in Hindi. You know, if I talk about Latin or if I talk about Greek or any other language, same is the case with them. The grammatical rules vary a bit. The toughest part to learn in any language is the vocabulary of that language, which I feel is the toughest, because you tend to get confused with the similar words. You know, and English has got multiple words. Same is the case with Greek. And some words are so common and they mean so differently. Take the case of French. In French, there are some words which are same like English, but they mean different in French and they mean different in English. That creates a lot of confusion when you're learning French. Yeah, grammar is one part which I believe is tough, but the tougher than grammar part is called as vocabulary. So this is what I feel. Let's talk about, do you think grammar is important in language learning? Of course. Without grammar, the other person will not be able to understand you. It is not possible for the other person to understand you. If your grammar is flawed, there is definitely a problem with the grammar. Okay, so now let us talk about the vocabulary words: exciting, challenging, uninteresting, tiresome, fascinating, remarkable, and interactive. Very simple words. You can simply Google them and start using them. Let us go to the next one. Frame 2, advertisements. So here we are with advertisements. Now these are going to be there in this examination. Make it very sure you know them. What do you like? TV advertisements or internet advertisements? Frankly speaking, I do not like advertisements at all. But again, they are the source of revenue for the internet websites and social media apps. So we have to watch them. There is no question of not watching them. But as far as TV advertisements are concerned, we can always change the channel to miss out an advert. But in case of internet advertisement, again, we can skip an ad. But as far as liking is concerned, depends on the kind of ad that is there. I cannot like each and every ad which is bounced at me. I'm very selective about the kind of advertisements which I like. So generally, the kind of advertisements which I like should be knowledge-based or should be information-based or maybe of entertainment value. Only then I like it. There are some advertisements which are neither of them. So I do not like them. Next, what kind of advertisements do you dislike? So I spoke on this. Do you share advertisements with others? Of course I do. Recently, there was an ad of Cadbury's in which there was a person who was standing there and there was an old woman who was sitting. So old woman dropped something, so she wanted the young man to pick it up for her. So the young man doesn't move. So the old woman moves herself and something falls on the bench that she was sitting on. That was a hilarious ad, absolutely hilarious ad. So the expressions of the woman, of the man were absolutely beautiful. And I spoke about that ad very highly to a lot of people. Have you ever bought something because of its advertisement? I definitely have. I have bought stuff which I haven't used just because the ads were superb. They were great. They were miracle ads, and I thought something wonderful is going to happen. But then I realized, no, this is bogus. And I should not be, being carried away by the ads that are being shown on the internet or the television. Do you watch advertisements from the beginning to the end? If the ad is interesting, definitely, why not? But if the ad is not interesting, not at all, then I would definitely fast forward the ad or skip the ad. Okay, here we are with the cue card. So let me zoom it out for you. Talk about a day that you took off from your work or study to relax. Okay, so here you are basically talking about a day that you took out from your work to relax. Now, recently we have got something called as Diwali. Okay, you can talk about near Diwali, you took a day off to do shopping and relax yourself because you were feeling you were under the weather. Under the weather means not feeling sick. You feeling sick. So you were under the weather and you wanted to purchase a lot of stuff and you had a lot of guests coming over. So you thought, why not take a day off and chill out yourself? So you can say what you did. So you just chilled out, you watched Netflix, you ate popcorns, had a lot of cold drink. Where you went, you were at home only. Who was there with you? So you can say, I called a couple of my friends, 2, 3 friends, very close friends of mine. So we spent the whole day together. And what did you do to relax? So you can say, we just chilled out, we watched Netflix, we ate a pizza, we had cold drink. So, we ordered something from Zomato and we really chilled out. So you can talk about this when you took a day off to relax from work or study. Okay, next, let's read the next one. Here we are. Now, let's see this. Rajat Rampal, I'm just coming back to you. Let me cover this frame. I'll come back to you. In what ways do people relax themselves? Well, I know a lot of ways in which people relax themselves. Sometimes they just do nothing. They sit at home, they enjoy themselves by not meeting people, by being with their own selves, and they just do nothing. There are other kinds of people who go to the gym, they work out, they sweat out a lot. There are other people who just go for a walk, other people who go for a drive. Some people simply go to sleep to relax themselves. Some people do yoga, some people do meditation, some like to read a book. So there are different ways in which people relax themselves. Do you think the way people relax has changed over the period of time? Of course it has. The best relaxation today is browsing the social media. And probably if you talk about me, browsing the reels is one of the most relaxing things that you do. That is very chilled out thing. So you simply sit without even getting interfered by anybody. You sit in a room, keep on watching the reels, or keep on watching some video, keep on watching some motivational speeches on your phone only. You are there with your phone, so you can relax yourself with your phone. That's a very interesting way to relax today. And before this time, when technology was not that prevalent, people never used to relax like that. How can people bring balance in their work and personal life? I think it is by spending time with themselves. They can balance work and personal life. You cannot overwork yourself. If you're working for, say, 8 hours or 9 hours a day, that's good enough. Don't overwork. Keep some time for your personal life. You cannot keep on working throughout the day like a mad dog. It just doesn't make sense. What difficulties people face managing their personal and professional life? Well, there are a lot of difficulties people face in managing their personal and professional lives. What people generally do, and what I always keep counseling people, do not carry your work home. If you carry your work home, do not take it to your family. Like, I would like to give you my example. I have a studio at home. Right now, I'm in Delhi. I've got a studio in Delhi and I've got a studio in Amritsar. whenever I'm traveling to Amritsar. And I've got a studio in New York. If I'm in America, I've got a studio there. So I've got these 3 studios. So whenever I'm in the studio, I complete my work, I complete my office things here. Whenever I go out, I do not carry it along. Same is the case with my office work. If I'm in my office and my family is home, I do not get my office home. That keeps me sane mentally, that we do not talk office on the dining table. We do not talk work on the dining table. That is very important rule in a house. So you can talk about that like this. The difficulties what people face is they interfere. They take their personal life to the office and they get their professional life home, and they intermix together. They talk to their parents, they talk to their family about the problems in the office, and in the office they talk about their personal matters. So they mix up everything and they mismanage everything. That is the biggest problem that people face in managing their personal and professional life. Do people like family trips once in a year in a country? Well, in our country, the family trips are there, but once in a country, I will not say for everybody. I will say yes, for the upper class, it might be there. For some part of the middle class, it might be there. But if I talk about the majority of the people, which is the lower middle class and the middle class and the lower class, they are not the ones to take a holiday once in a year to go out with the family or a family trip. They are the ones to remain with the family when they come back home. They don't have ample of money to go there. Family trips cost money. And to go on a family trip, you require money. It is not a simple job. You simply cannot pack your suitcases and go. Everything costs money. So these kind of family trips, which come once a year with the whole family, this is a privilege only for the few people who are on the top, not for everybody else. Not for every. We cannot generalize this statement. So, do people like planning family trips once in every year in your country? That's a very generic thing. Okay. Right. So let's go to the next one. Frame number 3. Okay. So before that, I will talk about some questions which are there. Rajat Rampal says, sir, sometimes the cue card is unexpected. Fir kya karna chahiye? Okay, Rajat Rampal, my suggestion would always be try. You must try at every cost. You have to give it a shot. You simply cannot come back and say, I couldn't try. It's not like that. You have to try, whatever may be there. But don't worry, the kind of effort that I'm putting in right now with you all, there's nothing unexpected, I feel. So let's go to frame number 3. Why do some people dislike giving their opinions? People dislike giving their opinions because nobody's there to listen to it, and people make fun of it. That's why they dislike giving their opinions. Are there any apps designed for collecting opinions about products and services? Well, there are a lot of apps. Lot of apps are there right now. A lot of websites are there right now, which keep on collecting data. You can make a form there, like Google is there, which you can make a form. And you can give that form to people and Google will collect the data on your behalf and it will show you the analytics, what people said. Why do people like to express their opinions? Why do people like to express their opinions in internet nowadays? It is the simplest way, the cheapest way. And you can express your opinions on every damn thing in the world. What are the advantages of sharing opinions on the internet? Number 1, it is place independent. You are anonymous. You don't have to show identity. If you're on Twitter, you can simply keep on, ripping apart people. Just doesn't matter. Twitter is known for it. You can share your opinions on any topic on earth on Twitter. Do you think that having a lot of opinions is a good thing? No, I don't think so. If you have too many opinions, it's not a good thing because it always destroys your own thought process. Then you are unsure about which side to take. So you should be very clear that you have opinion, that opinion is strong enough. Describe an introvert person that you know. I am on part 2. Introvert person that you know for a long time. Here you can make up a story. Say, my brother is an introvert, and you can talk about it. Who the person is, how well you do know him, what makes him or her introverted, and explain how do you feel about this person. So I think you can simply talk about it's a person-based cue card. I'm going to cover this cue card in due course of time. Person-based cue cards we will definitely cover. So next comes the questions based on this particular cue card. What is the difference between shy and introverted? A shy person doesn't like to talk. An introverted is who hates people. who doesn't want to meet people. A shy person may be sitting in the company of the people, but he's not talking. He's just shy. An introverted person doesn't even meet the people, doesn't even meet. He likes to be alone, isolated. What advice would you give to an introverted person? My advice to an introverted person would always be try meeting people. It is very important. If you don't meet people, your complex will never go away. Is this number of introverts on the incline? Oh, yes, it is definitely right. It is galloping up. It is rising by leaps and bounds. The reason for that is social media. It has totally made us introvert. People are always hooked onto the mobile phones. They don't want to talk to anyone else. And that is making them introverts right now. They start hating people. Do you think young people are becoming less expressive these days? Of course, they're becoming very less expressive these days because they don't talk to people and they don't want to come out with their emotions. They feel people will make fun of them. And that is what the reason is, that people are becoming introvert. What is the reason of people becoming introvert? Now you know the reason. We are coming on the last part of our talk today, work. Here we are. So what kind of people are popular at work? I think the people who are extrovert, who are helpful, are always popular. Are bosses more popular than employees at work? Sometimes the bosses are more popular, but I will not say all the time. There are some employees who work very well, who are very good achievers, who are employee of the month, like they are very popular. Which is more important at work, hard work or smart work? Always smart work, always smart work. I have seen people literally slogging themselves and not achieving anything out of it. And it is extremely difficult for people to, come into smart mode. That's very important, that you should work smart and not work very hard. Let's see another one. Kanav Kohli, I'll just come back to you. What you have to say about freedom of speech at workplace? I don't think so. There's much of freedom of speech in the workplace, because in workplace, you have a typical set of rules. You have to go as per that. There's a protocol in the office. You have to work on that. And if you've got a freedom of speech, you can just go haywire. Let's talk about the debating. Even in a debate, there's a free speech is not there. You cannot pick up any topic and start bashing about people. It's not possible. Free speech should be there, but only depends. You have to make a guideline for this free speech also, that these are the guidelines for the free speech. And in the workplace, there are guidelines. So there is freedom of speech to a certain level. What skills are much needed to get to get a job these days? I believe communication skills and an ability to do the work yourself, get the work done. That is very much required. And that is the thing which is there to get a job today. Let's talk about very interesting question Mr. Kanav Kohli has asked. Very good evening to you, Mr. Kanav Kohli. Sir, how do you handle debates? I mean, sometimes they ask a lot of questions which become debatable. Well, Kanav Kohli, you know how the debates work. There are always two sides of the coin. Today, there are not two sides of the coin. There are multiple sides of the coin. And if you talk about a good team leader, that person has to be, very street smart to answer the questions and make it sure how to keep silent some of the people and how to make people speak up if they're not speaking. It's an art to manage a debate. And it's an art to manage the answers. If you talk about the political leaders all across the world, the ones who are very wise, they know it very well when to start a debate and when to finish a debate. It is an art. If a person is asking a lot of questions, you should always have something up your sleeve so that you can give the person. It is very important. I understand there is freedom of speech in debates. But I think you also appreciate that there is nothing called as freedom of speech in the workplace. There's a ceiling around you. There's an invisible wall around you. You cannot pass that wall. If a person is trying to break that wall, the decorum of the office can get spoiled. So the team leader who is handling the debate, that person has to be wise enough to make it sure and to anticipate what kind of questions are coming up and handle them beforehand only. That is how it will work. And if you have any problems, I will definitely give you my personal number. Do contact me. I can help you out with this matter. Okay. Next thing is describe an occasion when you got a positive feedback from the work that you did. Okay, so you can talk about a project that you did and you got a very positive feedback on that. What did you did? What you did? A good project work, maybe in the office or in the school. When was it? Depends on what is your age, if you're in the school or in the college. Why you got positive feedback? Again, you got to talk about it. How you felt about it. How you felt about it means you felt positive or negative about it. It's a simple one, very simple one. You can easily talk about it. Here is my last part of today. And the vocabulary words which have been given here, uplifting, acknowledgement, optimistic approach, roller coaster ride, are wonderful words. Just search them and they're wonderful. Let me ask Sir one question of Rajat Rampal. Sir, it's polishing classes available. Rajat Rampal, definitely polishing is available. Actually, I have broken down my classes at a global level right now. And you can see them from anywhere in the world at 10 o'clock every night. So I'm covering one small aspect every day. In polishing classes also, they are there physically available. So you can talk to any of your branch head, they'll help you out with this. In your view, should children be taught to help others? I definitely believe if we do not tell the children how to help others, the society will become very animalistic. People will become very self-centric. It is extremely important for the children to help each other and help the other people as well. How do students at such high schools help each other? There are a lot of works, projects in which they have to help each other. A lot of social work they have to do. So that is how they help each other. What do you think there are benefits of having unpaid volunteers? I think this essay was discussed many times in this 10 o'clock class also. Unpaid volunteer work is one of the most important things that is happening in the world today. Teaching people about empathy, teaching people about how to feel for others, that can come only with volunteer work. Cleaning the parks, teaching the children who are deserving or financially impaired, then helping the blind, helping the old people, going to some asylums, helping people there, going to old age homes, helping people there, doing some volunteer work can develop a feeling of empathy in you, which is extremely important in today's society. How do you think volunteers themselves benefit? Volunteers learn a feeling called empathy. They get work experience also. They tend to learn about other people, how to handle them. Their horizons widen. They can come to know how to handle different kind of people, which is very, very important. It is not taught in school. Should professionals be hired rather than using volunteers' work? No, I don't think so. There should be only a few professionals who are managing the whole thing professionally. But otherwise, the real workers should be volunteer workers. If we do not propagate this, if we do not spread it to the society, it is not possible that the society will benefit out of it. Okay, so I have taught you a lot of stuff today, approximately 4 frames with 4 cue cards, which are expected in the month of November and October. So please watch this video again and make it very sure that I have given this PDF file on the left side download section of your login ID. Do see it. With this, we come to the end of our session today. Tomorrow, we'll be meeting for some writing session.